Hey friends, welcome back to Heartscapes. My name's Michaela. Really grateful to have you with me here. As I mentioned in my last Reiki Storytime video, here right now is Western Pennsylvania, where my daughter and I are visiting my dad and stepmom and their beautiful community here in rural Pennsylvania. And as I've been walking through this time of visiting with dear people and being in a just gorgeous place that's so very different than my Central California home, it's been a really amazing opportunity to put into practice something that, well, is always in practice in some way, shape, or form. But when we shift our environment, when we kind of step out of our routine, it can become a really good opportunity to notice things that might be harder to notice when we're in our routine. And that's the practice of observing where the elements and perspectives and practices of the system of Reiki show up spontaneously in our daily life outside of our formal practice. This is an ongoing assignment, if you will, that I always give my students, and it's one that I practice in my life. And it's really a practice of integration. So for example, the way I introduce all of these videos is that we're practicing Reiki to be rooted, spacious, connected, and to remember ourselves. And that's because that structure is firstly reflective of the energy map that we use in the system of Reiki of the 3 diamonds. And it really accurately describes some of the fundamental long-term benefits of healing, of wholeness, of peace that practicing the system of Reiki offers to us in practical terms, and in terms that can be applied over the whole of our life. And so I invite my students to look for those qualities showing up or being absent in their daily life outside of their Reiki practice. Again, the reason being integration. Practicing the specific elements of the system of Reiki will bring us this sense of being grounded and rooted, of being spacious and open to possibility, of being deeply connected to ourselves, to others, and to the world. But practicing Reiki is not the only way in which we can develop those qualities in our life. They are available to us in many, many forms. And for me, part of the benefit of practicing Reiki is noticing all of the other places where these benefits of Reiki show up in our life. And so, as I said, that's really been coming clear to me as I've been on this trip. And right now I'm in this really lovely little community graveyard. I believe it's called Freeman Cemetery, just up the road from my dad and stepmom's house, just out here on a walk. I'm probably pretty shiny and sweaty. It's super humid right now, at least a lot more than I'm used to. And as I was just kind of walking through this lovely space, this really intimate graveyard, I was just remembering a story that my stepmother told me yesterday as we were shopping. When her son came out to visit recently, they went to a similar graveyard as this and visited some of the graves of her relatives who have lived in this region for many generations. That's one of that is the reason that they moved here to this place, is that she had roots here. She had a sense of grounding here. And although she doesn't necessarily know a lot of the relatives who still live here, she sees their names in the paper. She can find ancestors in the graveyards here. And for her son, who was not able to grow up connected to his father, he died, and not connected to his father's side of the family, she could see how meaningful it was for him to find his roots here in this place, literally in the ground, in the graveyard that they visited. And, she watched, the way that she described it to me was really watching the subtle play of emotions, in her rather stoic son as he, found this sense of rootedness, this embodied feeling of having a place of grounding that he, hadn't had a visceral connection to before. And that really stood out to me as a moment of experiencing Reiki in a certain sense. That in that moment, the two of them together were feeling the rootedness and the groundedness of having that connection to their ancestral line. That is one way in which we can draw forward a sense of rootedness. It's not a way that I've experienced as directly. I haven't lived in a region where my family lived for a long time. But I do remember moments of having some evidence of my lineage come forward to me in unexpected ways, and the really powerful sense of grounding and connection that those moments gave me. A couple weeks ago, I posted another video about breakfast, about the way in which growing food at my home and connecting with other growers of food in my region also gave me that sense of grounding and connection, that sense of possibility, that feeling of being well cared for and well connected to the land that I live on and the people that I'm in community with. Breakfast, right? Another way to find a sense of grounding if we look at it from a particular perspective. And so I guess I just wanted to jump on here and firstly share this beautiful space with you that I'm so grateful to be in. And these couple of examples of feeling Reiki, spiritual energy, that which we are made of. You are Reiki. You always have been Reiki. Spiritual energy, that which animates and connects us. That we have these practices that specifically draw our attention to our existence as connected energy, like the system of Reiki. And then we have these spontaneous experiences that come up in our life. And again, part of practicing Reiki is noticing, is becoming attuned to those experiences, to really observing when they arise for us, taking that moment to pause, to feel the impact of those experiences on us. Perhaps even just taking a few breaths and connecting into the wider web of life that those moments make us aware of. It can be a simple, brief encounter with the world, but they matter. Like, it's the sum of those brief, powerful encounters with our connection to life that add up to a feeling of wholeness, of healing, of remembering our true self, of feeling like a complete human that is resourced and cared for. And so I just wanted to invite you and encourage you to look for those moments, to set an intention to notice them, right? To just kind of get in your mind, like, when those moments come up for me, a moment that helps me feel really grounded in myself, my community, in the land, moments that make me feel a sense of spaciousness, of wide open possibility that maybe I didn't notice before, moments of feeling deeply connected to myself, to others, to the land, that they'll catch our attention, that we'll take a pause to notice them. We'll take a little moment to let them sink into our body and work with us. Because friends, that is what healing looks like in the system of Reiki. It's what adds up to our feeling of being okay, of being good, of being well served by our life. So make a habit of it. Make a habit of writing it down when you notice those moments, or recording it in some other way. For me, I wanted to make this video, not just to share it with you, but also to help me remember, to help, inscribe it in my own memory. So yeah, that's what I wanted to come here and share with you. I'd love to hear your own stories of moments when these qualities came through for you, when you took that moment of pause, perhaps moments in the future that you'll notice, and perhaps, if you're willing to share vulnerably, moments when you felt the absence of those qualities, because those moments matter too. It's also important to notice when we have the absence of those qualities, and what are the conditions that are present when we're not feeling grounded, spacious, and connected. All of that is part of our Reiki practice. So I invite you into that. And as you walk through these moments of noticing your deep connection to the world, may you be deeply provisioned. Thanks so much for joining me on this just glorious morning here in Pennsylvania. Until next time, I love you. Bye.